Good morning, seekers. Welcome to a podcast on Saadhe Saati on the Corporate Seekers Forum. So, this is a wonderful topic I've been wanting to discuss with you all for a long time now. So, we have a fantastic guest today. Let me start with the context of Corporate Seekers itself. So, friends, at Corporate Seekers, our vision is to help working professionals navigate through the turbulence, uncertainty, fear, and sufferings of life towards holistic clarity, holistic happiness, and holistic freedom. So, I've crafted a wonderful journey to enable this for working professionals. The first step being having clarity as to what you're seeking in life, then developing deeper self awareness as you walk this journey and walk the path of sadhana towards achieving everything that you want to achieve, but with a sense of detachment. And here, I play the role of your co seeker to walk this journey with you. So, the idea is to invite you to spiritualize your entire life journey, whether it is personal sphere, your relationships, or your professional journey. So, friends, I was going through a certain phase of life which was full of difficulties at the relationship front. Things were not going fine, financially down, a lot of changes happening at the workplace. I wondered what I was actually going through. Then I was told by a couple of astrologers that I was going through Saadhe Saati. Okay, so this is one of the word phrases which is generally feared by people because this phase is characterized by difficulties, suffering in every department of life. So then I happened to speak with a friend of mine, Smitha Shetty, and she gave me a lot of insights and broadened perspectives about how to look at this phase. And she even suggested me to start reading something called Shani Mahatmya, which really helped me gain a deeper perspective about this phase of life. So today, our intention will be to bring you perspectives that we have about Saadhe Saati as a phase. So, Smita, I'm going to pin your. Yeah, please unmute yourself. Let me introduce Smita and then we'll take the discussion forward. Okay. So, Smita is a great friend. I'm really happy to be in connection with Smita. She is a visionary person who is revolutionizing the way wellness is perceived. She has represented the Indian team at the World Judo Championship, and she began her journey with a personal challenge that ignited her passion for wellness. We'll briefly know about it today. She is an international judo referee, and she's also been the tournament director for Khelo India Women's League that happened in Kerala recently. She brings a unique blend of modern science and ancient wisdom to empower individuals to take control of their holistic well being. And her learning of the ancient scriptures, the Vedic scriptures, has allowed her to decode the wisdom to develop practical application for people's health and wellness. Her holistic approach, rooted in the principles of Ahara Shastra, has guided distinguished clients like Anil Ambani, Leena Nair, Imtiaz Ali, and many such people towards their own transformative well being. And she is also recognized as one of the 100 under 40 for her contribution in this area. Now she is dedicating her life to support pregnant women, and she carries a very noble mission to create stress-free environment for expectant mothers and their babies, ensuring a healthy start and breaking the cycle of lifestyle diseases, and very importantly, to break the generational trauma so that the future generation that we give birth to are rooted in peace and bliss. You can follow her in Instagram at the Smitha Shetty. Smitha, welcome to Corporate Seekers.
Thank you so much, Manju. I'm so happy to be here.
Great. So, friends, I want to first give a disclaimer that neither of us are experts in Saadhe Saati. Okay. It so happened that Smitha is also going through Saadhe Saati and so am I. Yeah, you'll have to unmute yourself. I'll just make you a co host so that you can unmute anytime. Yeah, go ahead, Smitha. Just try unmuting Smitha once. Yeah, cool. So, friends, I was saying that neither of us are experts in Saadhe Saati or in astrology or any of the associate areas. So, it is our effort because we felt that largely we have seen people looking at this phase as a very traumatic phase. It has a very negative connotation associated with it. So, we want to break that myth. Okay, because thanks to Smita largely, I started looking at Saadhe Saati as a phase of inner transformation, and we'll speak about how this unfolded. Okay, so Smita, welcome to the show again. We are very, very pleased to have you here. Smita lives in Mumbai, by the way. Let us start with how did you actually get into judo before we enter Saadhe Saati as a topic?
I think as a child, I always had this thing to do something in army or martial art or something. And my college gave me this opportunity to be part of judo team. And actually, in our college, ours was the first batch who actually got into judo. So me and my friend, two of us, we started with the practice. We used to go to different places earlier, and then the college supported it, and college had the classes. So it made it. I mean, it was very simple: college and class. That's it.
Wonderful. So tell us briefly about your life journey. How you landed at where you're right now.
Uh, well, even though I had a deep interest and earning towards learning martial art, I was a very fragile, thin girl who has broken her joints multiple times while practicing judo. But I did not give up. Mainly, my coach, he always inspired me to continue what I've been doing, and never. I mean, of course, he has his own way of training, but he was always positive and pushing to do better and better with my practice. That helped me to continue. And my mom was like, if you get first class in your all your semesters, I don't care what you do, judo, whatever, whatever. So love of judo automatically allowed me to do outperform my education. So that's how I started doing. But after completing my business studies, I realized that this is not what I really want to do. And I got into fitness, and that is how it just went on. And very blessed and lucky. And Bombay is the city which supports your dreams. So I got to work with elite people at the very beginning of my career, and was working with Dr. Harshada and Dr. Vipul, who are the best physios in India. They are physios to Sachin Tendulkar and many more athletes. So that gave me even wider perspective to work. And yoga happened because I was like, okay, what is the future? How does this really look? When I will be aging, what am I really contributing to? What is it that I would want to continue? So that's how it happened. Then I was like, oh, but nutrition is such an important part. So nutrition happened. All this really quick, okay? And then I was like, okay, fine. All this is good. People eat right, people exercise, people sleep on time, but still they can be unhealthy because Ahar Shastra says that what swasthya, which means health, is the balance of physical and mental element both. So that's how I started getting deeper into understanding what emotions are, how you can manage it better. But I would say that it's just last a couple of three years, which has allowed me to push myself and be even efficient at what I do, is because I went through my own and emotional stress and overcoming that. Right, so that journey allowed me to reach where I am. In terms of what I really do with as you said, with pregnant women, is because when I was working with them, I realized that a lot of lifestyle diseases, all of them can be reversed. Your blood pressure, diabetes, PCOD, thyroid, cancer, all this can be reversed. But of course, there is some process and an effort which you have to make so that you are reaching to certain place. However, what was seen is that most of it comes from pregnant women, and when she is not taking care of herself, it gets passed on to her children. So if we are able to assist mothers to really understand how they can offer clean slate to their child, it becomes easy. We actually help mothers to code their babies while the baby is in the womb, so that they are able to get best out of whatever they have to offer. So that has been my journey. Thank you, Manju.
Wonderful, Smita. Thank you. And let's dive into Saadhe Saati. Okay.
Totally.
So tell me, how did you come to know that you are going through Saadhe Saati?
I think once my friend told me that, it's going to start. And well, how, so this is how I just got to know. But just the backstory is that, my mom is a very pious lady. She believed in doing deity worship, or going to temple, doing tapas, doing puja. So as a child, along my sister, we would go to Shani temple, which was close to my house, and they would do certain puja. So every Saturday, so I used to go to this tuition. Do you understand what's tuition
Yeah,
batch
yeah.
classes? Yeah.
Yes.
So so we all, like all of us, the same batch, we would all go to the temple. Not because, oh, we thought something great is going to happen. I think that was the way to bond. And we would all, every Saturday, that would be a ritual that we would go to Shani temple. And that is how, there was anyways a link and attachment to Lord Shani. And while I was understanding the whole process, what it is, people would fear then as well. But eventually, when I realized, oh, because then I would come and watch some movies on it, because I think every Saturday or Sunday they used to play this devotional movies and stuff. So there we had a story of Shani Dev, and I realized, oh, he's not actually troubling people. He's just telling that, oh, dude, you did this in your past, so now pay for it big time. That's all. So that's how the transformation happened. And I would read more about you know different topics, but of course this as well. That's how eventually I have this strong sense that Lord Shani is not here to trouble you or to really harass you, none of that. So that's my journey about how did I got to know that I have Saadhe Saati, but how I was seeing it already from my past experience.
And to whatever extent you can share, what kind of difficulties did you face in this phase?
So honestly, for me, I think at the start of Saadhe Saati, all my problems started getting resolved.
Quite the opposite.
Quite opposite, and so much aligned with my belief, right? That here it is not here to trouble you. So possibly, a toxic relationship, you were able to end and come out of it. Okay, work is not happening. Why is it not happening? Work was happening, but because of the stress I was going through, everything just dropped and slowed down, right? So it gave me intelligence. Oh, okay, these are the gaps. I need to fill this up, right? So all that happened only at the onset of Saadhe Saati, honestly. So for me, I don't think so that I had challenges that way, but it has own phase that I ended up spending money, because that's what people think, that you will spend money, you will lose money. But one perspective is that yes, I put lot in money, a lot I spent a lot of money, but that was only to upgrade my understanding. Like I took a lot of coaching, I had different coaches across. So I did take that money, okay, in lakhs, but it was only for me to develop further, not otherwise. So yes, if you want to say what did really happen, yes, I lost money, but I got knowledge. I got better understanding of how to live life better. I have more skill set today. Like I'm doing a doula course, so I'm already in the 6th week of it, right? You spend money for these things, but it is useful. It's not that it's gone wasted. Relationships, it's said that in Saadhe Saati you will go through very tough relationship, but today the relationship is different. I am able to understand that what am I really supposed to be reacting, acting, stopping myself, or standing up for myself when I know things are not okay. So that will compromise certain relationship, but am I ready to really let go that, or am I wanting to stay with those relationship and still feel pain, right? So
Mhm.
these were the challenges. So for me, because I see it only very differently, it has been a different start itself. So I am feeling it's good, because my work is getting better, my relationship with myself is much better. um, Career wise it's better. Health wise, because health is one area which will get affected a lot, right? So I can definitely see a significant change, because right now I think I'm in my second phase, that my what happens with Shani, because the nature of Lord Shani is to be little slow, right? So everything will be slow. So even if my career is growing, it will not be like this fast. It is going to be step by step and slow, right? Even health wise, I can see that there are there are my metabolism has slowed down. I can feel are my legs are telling me that they are going little weak. So I can feel, because Lord Shani represents our legs, basically feet. And usually in north side, like, they say that Shani आपके पैर से चढ़ते हैं, right? Because what happens is your gut goes little slow and weak. Your body starts functioning little slower. So of course the movement of the blood also will be little different. So you will feel it on your legs. So I am also feeling, it's not that I am exclusive to it, right? I'm spared. So while this is happening, but because there's a right understanding for me already how to manage my health better, what supplements I can take, how can I change my diet. So that has given a different twist to this, and I am able to handle that also much in a much dignified way.
Wonderful. Thank you for candidly sharing your own personal experiences, Smitha. Okay, let's demystify this whole landscape one detail at a time. Okay, so we all know that. In fact, we did a Shani Homa. So we did a bunch of homas in our home, Shumoga, recently. So one of the things was Shani. So I said Shani, and the Pujariji corrected me. Shani doesn't like calling Shani. So always say Shani Dev or Shani Maharaj or Shanishwara. So now I started using the word Shanishwara. Even in fact, today morning when I sent you my status update that I completed Shani Mahatma's reading, I started writing Shanishwara instead of Shani. Anyway, so we all know that Shani is one of the grahas, planets. So from a planetary point of view, what is Saadhe Saati?
So just touching the point before that, right? So when people, or when Panditji or Pujari, when they say something, we just take it literally. Now, what is he saying? Don't call Shani just Shani. It simply means that don't call anybody who's elder than you, who's much superior in knowledge, who's much superior in experience, just by their name. Give them some kind of prefix or some kind of respect, right? So it simply means that, and especially Shani is such that he is karma. He will offer you exactly what your karma is wanting you to learn, right? And so he's about, oh, your ego, oh, your oh, you feel you're great. Okay, I will show you you're not. That's what Shani. He's not showing you. He's just telling you to learn. It's simple. Like, for example, Ashwini Kumaras, they are for medicines, right? Similarly, Shanidev is for justice. Like Yama is for death. Now, people may fear Yamadev, but he is saying, I'm just doing my duty. Like, everyone will have to die someday or the other. So, what is the point fearing? Same thing. Shanidev is not trying to say, listen, you know what, I am superior, so worship me. Take my name with lot of grace. No, he's just trying to tell us that no matter who, just offer them respect. That's why we are supposed to, we will, even Bhishma, like, Bhishma Dev, right? Bhishma, we call him Bhishma Pitama because his grandfather for everybody. Indra Dev, Similarly, if there's someone who is respectful, like say Sarpanch, so Sarpanch Ji, right? Or Shri Sarpanch. So these are the touch points. And I think today we are just going to explore these kind of aspects so that we understand what it is. Of course, nothing to, like, I love the disclaimer you offered that it has nothing to do with astrology. It has nothing to do with any of these. I'm definitely not an expert in astrology per se. So yes, that is part one. Part two, what was your actual question? I got stuck with the
Yeah,
first
so
part.
about what has Saadhe Saati to do with the planets?
Oh yeah. So see, again, the same energy I flow with is this, that whatever you were doing in your last life, okay? So when you die, it's not that everything is over as per Sanatan Dharma. You will carry everything in your next life. Okay. So when you're doing that, all these energies, what we have within us, which are categorized as a different planet, will also be placed equally in your next birth chart. So if you have some desire, like while dying, you have intense desire, that will be carried forward by Rahu, because Rahu represents obsession. So while you're dying, while you're dying, you're supposed to be, letting go everything, but you're still obsessed about something, right? So that gets represented in your chart in next life.
Mm.
Similarly, whatever karma, because we have multiple lives, right? So we do different things in different life, good, bad, all that, and that comes as some combination, and nobody knows it. That's why it said guna. Guna means rope, which is like, multi-dimensional. So we really don't know which one. So you cannot say, oh, but I've been very good all my life, why am I getting troubled? Because we have done different karma in different life, that gets together at one junction with different combination, and that's offered to you in one particular lifetime. So
Mm.
Shani represents the karma, or Shani is actually helping you to understand that what is it in your life you're supposed to get discipline. So that is the actual meaning. But in human beings' life, there will be phases where Shani, not just Lord Shani, but other planets will also have their influence,
Mm.
like Venus. Venus will have its own influence, but when Venus is on, you will have a lot of luxury around you. So you will not get scared of Venus and say that, oh, why is Shukra there in my life? Why is he there in my life? Nobody will question him. But as soon as there is, Lord Shani or Mangal happening, you'll be like, oh my God, why are these troubling me? Why is Rahu troubling me? Why is Ketu troubling me? Right? So it's just the perspective what we have. All of them are just doing their job. Nobody is doing a favor on you. Nobody is not doing a favor on you. They are just helping you to realize your karma and unlock the portals for you so that you can keep moving higher and higher in your self journey,
Mm.
right? So for me, when I look at Lord Shani on chart also, it doesn't mean that he's here to harm me, or he's teaching me to be very to get angry or to get upset. He's here just to tell me that in this area of your life you need more discipline, you need more streamline. He's telling streamline your actions so that it helps you to move in an easy way in your life journey. Yeah.
Mm.
Is this helping you to understand?
Yes,
And
yes.
is it answering your question? Yeah.
And staying true to our earlier conversation, that we'll not keep it as a podcast per se. We'll just think of it like how you and me talk on call. So I'll
Right.
just plug in a little bit of insight that I received about for many people, right? They may not be believing in this whole astrology, birth chart, karma, etc. Right? So it happened with me with a friend in Dubai. Okay, so she was asking something, and I happened to talk about astrology. If you want something, you talk to astrologers whom I consult with. So I gave the number. So she was not so receptive to the idea of astrology. So I used an analogy which I want to share here in the context of Saturn being a planet. So the way, the high tides, low tides, it's a commonly known phenomena that during full moon, the tides are at a certain level. During low moon or Amavasya, the tides are a little different. And the moon position, the proximity of the moon to Earth defines the state of mind, because 70% of our body is water. And if the tides can move up and down so much based on the moon's proximity, imagine what will happen to our state of being, both mentally and physically, right? So if moon can have such an influence on Earth, imagine the size of Saturn, though it is quite far away. Imagine that kind of influence that planet can have on us, and similarly other planets. So this is one of the small analogy I use to open up people's minds towards possibility of the planets having an influence on our life trajectory. So in that context, it must be a quite a mathematical phenomena for a Saturn to appear in a certain position in a certain phase of life based on the past karmas. But we'll not go into that, decoding that algorithm today.
Yes. Maybe, but yeah, see, one of the thing why people don't want to meet astrologers also, because there is no proper understanding about how this can be decoded. End
Mhm.
of, you're just given that, oh, go do this donation, oh, do this puja, do this. I mean, how is it making sense to you? like think logically, it doesn't make sense to you, right? But if somebody allows you to expand on astrology from a point of view that how it's going to help you in your own journey, it might help people to open up a little more. And astrologers also need to know this, that instead of inducing fear, if they help us understand not just Shani or not just planet Shani, but every other planets, so that it actually you use that as a tool for your self growth, then it makes sense. Everybody knows that planets, they will have some or the other effect on it. But
Hmm.
they don't want to see any astrologer, simply because they know that if I go, he's going to tell me do this, do that, do, and you're like, okay, it's not making any sense to me. How I'm if I'm going to donate see black till to someone, how it's going to change my financial position, right?
That's the larger challenge with most of the rituals, because over a period of time, the Vedic rituals have remained rituals minus the logic, the rational, and the science behind it. Basically, everything evolved from science, but rituals have remained minus the logic behind it. So perhaps that's the reason.
Yeah, and I also feel it's not because people did it intentionally, because historically we have gone through so much of challenges.
Hmm.
So what happens is, right, if you're fighting to survive, you will just give the basics to your children, right? You will not think about, oh, let me explain life philosophy to them. So when you've been killed and murdered every now and then, so all you need to do is just give this present and say, preserve this, figure this out, what is this is later, right? So I wouldn't say it's done on purpose. It just happened because of the challenges our country went through. However, I still feel that if each one of us take this responsibility of understanding this from right perspective, it becomes easy for us to pass on to our next generation.
Wonderful. Okay, so Saturn as a planet has an influence on our life journey. This is kind of one of the key essence of discussion so far. And of course, karma, different planetary positions, etc. Why 7.5? Saadhe Saati means in Hindi, Saat means seven, Saadhe means half. So Saadhe Saati is 7.5.
Right.
Any idea why it's 7.5?
I see, again, from astrological point, I don't understand this, but for see, if you look at from a very big time perspective, 7.5 is very minute. It's very, very small. Okay.
Hmm.
However, it's said that because we already discussed that Saturn is a very, very big planet, and it is also a very slow planet, right? So it moves only slowly. If it was like, if we have, say, moon ka dasha, it is only 28 days. So if Saturn was moving so fast, then probably it would have lasted only for 28 days.
Hmm.
But by nature, Saturn is moving slow, and for him to complete that one cycle, right? One movement from one planet to another. So it takes that its own time. And there are three Rashi which gets influenced. That's why we have phase one, phase two, phase three. So while he's moving into different phases, the time movement is that much. So he spends that much time in each Rashi. That's how the calculation becomes 7.5 years.
It's 2.5, 2.5, 2.5.
Right. It just moves like that
Yeah.
slowly. So you
Just for
have
the
that,
audience, when we say 7.5, we are talking about 7.5 years. Yeah. In a lifespan. Yeah. Go ahead. 2.5 years, 2.5 years, 2.5 years. Yeah.
right. So
I
that
always
is
get confused with this. This planet is in this Rashi. I mean, it's very difficult for me to remember all those things.
right. Yeah, yeah. So if the thing is that on the day-to-day basis, we don't have to do this. So we don't have to really remember it that way. However, what is important is to understand that the movement is slow, and because it affects three rashis, that's how yours will be at the first phase, some point, then second phase, and then the third phase. And each, so intensity will come heavy when you're in the second phase, because the movement for while moving first is gone,
Mhm.
second is the most intense, and third one is leaving phase. So that's how all three phases have their own impact.
So, okay. See, my difficult. So we went to Uttarakhand for 4 months. I'm just introducing my little experience here. So we went to Uttarakhand and we happened to meet a sadhu who had gone to Mount Kailash and other places. He told me that your Saadhe Saati is starting now. Okay. Obviously, the word itself kind of created fear in me. क्या होने वाला है अभी करके. So then this was 2020, just between first lockdown and second lockdown of COVID. And we spent 4 months in
Hmm.
Uttarakhand, 1.5 months in Rishikesh, and 2.5 months in Kasar Devi Hill. So that was the time where he mentioned this. So it means it's been 5 years since then.
Hmm.
So do you mean, and I can correlate now that my heavy beating period, in all ways, like psychologically, relationships, money, very bad phase in the last 5 years. Of course, there have been other positives as well in parallel, but largely, if I look at like 43 years of my lifetime, this is the second intense long turbulence period I've gone through. Okay. So as per what you're saying, I'm in the exit phase of Saadhe Saati. So things should start looking better, is what I mean.
Uh, See, again, I feel that there is a thing, oh, but still, I think, oh, still things will now start looking better. No, you have already learned your lessons because
Ah.
you have done a lot of tapas. You have understood your relationship more. You have gone deeper with your financial understanding. You have got clarity that what you want to do with your financial movement, with your career. So I would still want to also make you, get your awareness back to this point that it has always been nice. All these years have been nice. Like I was talking to one of my client yesterday, and she said, when is this struggle really going to stop? It's not that she's going through Saadhe Saati, but just that, okay, this phase, now this, now this. So I was just trying to tell her that it's just the way you're looking at struggle, right? Biggest struggle when we are born is to walk. And we never give up in that phase. We keep falling, we keep falling, we keep falling, we keep falling. But we will stand and we walk. That is the actual biggest struggle because that time, physically also, we have no strength. There is no muscle, nothing is happening there. But we keep struggling and we are happy that we are able to walk. But as we start aging, we believe our ego comes into play. And then now the struggles are seen actually as struggle and not as the touch point of my growth. And so I believe that, oh, my struggle should come
Hmm.
to an end. But it's not like that. Struggle till the time you have struggle, you're in a happy space. Because struggle will push you to find solutions. Happiness isn't finding solution. Happiness is not saying that now I have no problem at all, because your life will be very boring and nobody really likes boring life. Happiness or saying that my good phase is basically having right understanding and right solution for your struggle. Like, for example, if you're struggling with your health, understanding, okay, this is the issue I'm going through, finding a right person, right doctor, right nutritionist, right health care practitioner will allow you to have happy life.
Hmm.
Birth, death, old age, and disease is the basic problem, and we'll always have that. That we'll never be able to overcome that.
Hmm.
No matter what will happen, no matter how much we grow, how much science grow, death is the natural phenomenon, right? So
That brings
struggle,
me, Smita, did I interrupt you? Go ahead.
yeah. So the struggle per se is not bad. So when you look at your last phase of your chart or your Sadhe, what you should be doing is expressing extreme amount of gratitude towards Lord Shani for allowing you to experience life in such a way which has pushed your journey. So what happens is in that Sadhe, everyone will be pushed to explore their inner self and explore their own spirituality.
Hmm.
And the problem is the moment we start resisting or we don't want to change the pattern, it's going to feel tough on you. Every person who doesn't want to change, who doesn't want to evolve, who does not understanding that there has a deeper meaning and spirituality is pushing you to reach to different level, they will always say my Sadhe Sati was the toughest period of my life because they don't want to move, they don't want to move a grain. So they will see this as a tough phase. For you, what I understand from your journey and what I know, you have grown so much, like with your breath work, with your tapas, with your celibacy, all of that you have pushed so much that you have reached to a point where you feel, wow, this is beautiful. So I'm okay, I'm making an exit, but yeah, I need to offer enough and more gratitude to Lord Shani. And I think that is the same thing as the same pastime we have in Shani Mahatmya, the story
Yeah.
of Vikram, right? Vikramaditya, this the king. And he went through a very tough phase, tough time, because so even when I look at this story, I am 100% sure.
Yeah. Just want to interrupt here, Smita. We'll take up the Shani Mahatmya story slightly in the end part because I really want to give a perspective to the audience how to look at these Mahatmyas. We do Satyanarayana Puja, Shani Mahatmya. There are many Mahatmyas, right?
Sounds good.
So we'll discuss the solution part in a while. But I have a question about, you mentioned about three parts to the 7.5 years, two and a half, two and a half, two and a half in each different rashis. Okay. Even if you mention, I'll forget it. So I'll the rashis. One of the astrologers told me, and I kind of it sounded correct. He said, you have already gone through one Saadhe Saati in the earlier part of your life, and this is your second time. Okay. I'll tell you my confusions. He said, your first Saadhe Saati lasted for more than 12 years. And when I look back at my life, yes, I don't know whether it was for 12 years, but I went through, like, when I say it, I feel it in my breath. My breath is getting heavy when I want,
Right.
because it was such a terrible time, emotionally draining, when you're supposed to really skyrocket in your career and life. That was the period. Okay, that was one. And I remember you mentioning that it happens thrice in your lifetime. Please tell about that. And
See, because
also, and also, I think Aarti here in the chat mentioned that one of the astrologers told her that she has been going through Saadhe Saati for the past 23 years. So, is the duration also possible to be more than 7.5? And how many times does it occur in a lifetime?
see, so Saadhe Saati cannot go on for such a long time. Okay, because Lord Shani by himself is a very compassionate person. He's not, see, whenever you're done with the Saadhe Saati, the outcome will be, if you have really understood what he's trying to teach, the outcome is going to be much bigger than the test you went for. Right, so it is not going to be like, it's not going to last forever. Now what happens is, if you are born in, see, I like, again, it's very broad perspective. So if you are born only in that say phase of Lord Shani, or if you are sitting of Shani in your chart itself is not favorable in the sense, the planet around it's not favorable, your tough time is going to continue, because it's not only Lord Shani but other planets are also affecting you. So my perspective is this, that nothing can last for 20 years, because it's a huge time, and universe or Lord or any of these planets are not here to destroy you or make you feel that, okay, you have to suffer for long. So 7.5 is what you really, first phase, whenever that first phase is, it's 7.5 only. After that, what you have is, because other planets may not be in your favor as much as it should be, you will feel the pressure of it extended. So my understanding is this, for Aarti also happened the same thing, because no planet, never, not even universe, will allow you to suffer for lifetime. It's in your hand that how do you see this, and how are you able to channelize this. And if I sit and compare myself with someone else, I will always feel that I have less, or I am in a less good situation. But when I see my own growth, because I'm not growing from my birth, I'm growing from my last many births. From that point, maybe this is the point where I need this. And also, we all ask for certain lessons in every life. It's not that it's coincidentally happening something. So the way we are, the combinations also happen in such a way that we ask for certain lessons to be learned in that life. So if you have asked that, if you have asked that, oh God, please give me strength, okay? And then Lord sends some big tough situation. You're like, God, why have you sent? And God is like, listen, you asked for strength. Face this and become strong. I can't give you strength just like that. Like, okay, I will give, but you may not be able to value it enough. So when I send a situation, you stand strong. That's how your strength increases. So if my life lesson for this lifetime is that, okay, I have to understand relationships better. So I will have challenges in relationships. I have to learn how to navigate or understand how to do things better. That is my success. My success is not, oh, okay, my success is not based on what my neighbors think, what my relatives think, what my partner thinks. My success is based on what, from where I've started and where I have reached. That's the success,
Mm.
right? So if somebody is saying that your Saadhe Saati is for 23 years, then please don't trust that person, RP. Okay?
In fact, Aarti is now saying that you make Saadhe Saati is something to look forward to. In fact, Aarti, I really, I resonate with this. I can see the shift in me during this phase. Okay, it's something to look forward to actually. So one question, Smitha. Um, I also heard that the first occurrence of Saadhe Saati in your life is really troublesome, and the second time it actually brings a lot of abundance and growth. Is that so?
No, no, no. I mean, yes. I mean, if that is how you're looking at it, it's great. It's just the first phase of your Saadhe Saati in younger days. It's just that you're so raw. Okay, you've been so protected by your parents, by grandparents, X, Y, Z. And the other day we were discussing that how people die, right? He was the one because he lost his parents much before he was born. His father died, right? So he got to know it's because of Shanidev. So he went to Shanidev and he said, "Dude, what are you doing with me? How can you do this? I'm going to punish you," because he was a very big tapasvi. He had a lot
So
of
this is Pippalada Maharshi.
yeah. So
Okay.
he had a lot of punya from tapas. So he could do that. And to some extent it did happen. But uh, he said that, Shani they were saying like it's not my fault. The combination is such. So then because of that episode, there was a boom given that no young children will ever have to go through Saturday right?
Mm.
They may go through their own challenges because of other planets, but not because of Lord Shani, right? So first phase of your life when you're going through, you're very raw and you don't know what's happening. Everything is going ballistic and you're just going crazy. You don't know how to handle this. So your way of looking at things or way of dealing with things is not optimal.
Mm.
While in the second phase, which will happen around your late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, you have gained so much more experience from your life and you're able to navigate little better. So,
Mm.
of course, abundance will come because you're handling it in a much better and different way, in a different space. And if you're alive till your last phase, okay, if
Which
you're
is
still there,
which is how many years?
which will again come after a span, I think around, I don't remember exact number, but I think it happens at the gap of at least 20, 25 years. That is what it is
I mean,
around
the
that
last
time.
20 years phase.
No, 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 no. Every gap between two Shani, Saadhe Saati will be around, I think, around 20 years. So the
Mm.
last phase is around 60, when you're in your 60s or mid 60s or 70s. That phase, you'll be much in a much better and wiser space,
Mm.
right? You will be in a much wider space. You're wise and your life, you have lived life in a much wider spectrum. So of course that will be much easier because now if somebody is saying, listen, I don't want to talk to you, you're like, it's okay, go. I don't want to talk to you. Now if somebody is coming and saying, listen, I'm going to rob all your wealth, you're like, okay, take it. I don't want anymore. I mean, if you have learned detachment,
Yeah.
right? But if this happens to you in your 20s where somebody really, you lost a lot of money in business or something happened, it's heartbreaking and you're like, dude, what's happening, right? So it's just that, time will make you wiser and the way you look at things will differ. So it's going to
Mm.
be even better and better and better. So yeah, that's the point. That's the
2 points that you mentioned stood out. One, you said this phase really helps you become spiritually deeper. And I completely vote for it. Because every time I read Shani Mahatmya, which we'll speak about in detail in a while, it is giving me deeper perspectives and it's a point of reflection. And that point of reflection is helping me show up better with a deeper awareness. That's one. So, I mean, now I have really come to the conclusion that this life is here to spiritualize it. There's no other purpose. Everything else, material is the bells and whistles of leading this life. Okay, that's one. Second, you mentioned that it happens thrice, and the second occurrence happens in the middle phase in 30s and 40s or maybe early 50s. Isn't this somewhere associated with midlife crisis?
See, again, I have a very different way I look at midlife crisis also. So, midlife is the point where you have reached a junction where you have, if you're married and you have children, you have that side of people. And then on the other side, if your parents are still alive, then there is you have two sets of people. So you're seeing three generations here, right? So you're in middle, and the crisis is that you have to take care of your children. What you need, they need their support, wisdom and support, and you have your older parents where you have to give in so much from support point of view, right? So here you are questioning your identity. So yes, it is associated with your midlife, and this is the chunk of your life where it will be decided that how your future is going to move, where your future is going to move. So yes, again, midlife crisis, people think in a very different and negative way. Actually, it is nothing to do with your identity crisis, or it's not like you're going to die, or you're going to let people go, or you're going to divorce your partner, or you're going to leave people. It's not like that. If you understand this also in a right way, yes, it is a midlife crisis. It will help you to elevate from where you are. However, seeing it from a negative point is going to make you only feel more dull, and you're going to lower your own growth, right? So yes, it can be associated with midlife crisis also.
And I remember one statistics you mentioned in our conversation leading up to this event, that at any point of time, around 33% of global population are going through Saadhe Saati. How did this come about? Where did you figure this out?
So it is just because the way the planetary system moves, with the way Lord Shani moves, based on that. At any given point in time, around globally, 33% people are going through this. So it's almost one something like that,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of people are going through this. For some, they feel it's intense. For some, they don't feel it's so intense, because their mindset is allowing them to take things positively.
Mm.
So this is the number which comes after all the astrological calculation. So because also because there are three rashis getting affected, right? So once these three move out, then another three will come into picture. Then that will move out, then another three will come into picture. So slowly and steadily, this is how it will keep moving. And that's the number it has come to. I'm not an expert in that field, but I definitely know it's around 30 to 33% is what the global population is going.
Smitha, sip some water. I'll do a quick poll with the audience. Okay. So
Yes, so.
there are about 20-ish people here. So guys, if you know that you are going through Saadhe Saati, just type yes in the chat. I asked a bunch of people in the corporate seekers group, and some of the people did say yes. Okay, cool. How many of you don't know you might be going through or not? If you're going through some extreme difficulties in life, and if you don't know that you're going through, say IDK, I don't know. Okay, so yeah. Okay, it's a mix of some people know for sure that they are going through. Maybe they have consulted astrologers and confirmed it. So some people may not be knowing about it. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is of course, this conversation can go on. There's so many details to understand, but I want to mention two things that really helped me when you counseled me on this. Okay. So I shared with you on a conversation that, astrologers have told me this and I'm going through this and I can see that things are happening downward, and I'm getting deeper in terms of my spiritual insight, spiritual conversations with my wife. That's my best favorite pastime, to have spiritual conversations with Nanda. So you sent me a PDF, Shani Mahatma PDF. So I started reading that every Saturday. You asked me to read first thing in the morning, preferably, take bath, do this on an empty stomach, right? So there are many solutions, as I understand. There are ritualistic solutions as to how to interpret this phase, how to, for example, putting sesame oil and till on a Shani temple, Shani Deva temple. Like that. There are many ritualistic solutions to this, which I have not really gone through. Okay, I know even on the Shanideva Jayanti, you asked me to do that. I went to the temple, I did the Shani Mahatmya, but I didn't do the oil part. Okay, but I gave the till in Mahakumbh. You asked me to do that, right? So I gave till laddus to sadhus there, and you asked me to pour it in the water or something. So I did that. So for me, more than the ritualistic solution, anything to do with inner work, That suits me better. Okay. So when you suggested me to read Shani Mahatmya, and for the audience, I want to just bring the element of Shani Mahatmya here. So, friends, there is a story called Shani Mahatmya, and that story has been written in a way that there's a king in Ujjain. Did this really happen, Smita, or is a mystical story? It happened, right, with Vikramaditya. Now, once I think you're on mute. Hold on. Yeah, unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So Vikramaditya is was a king. If you visit
Yeah.
Ujjain and if you go there, you will see all his work even today. His palace is there, all of that. So Vikramaditya was it's like a real. It's not mythological figure or is not created just randomly.
Yeah. So Vikramaditya is a king from Ujjain, and he goes through his own journey of Saadhe Saati, and the whole life journey is captured, and the whole phase is captured in the form of a story, very vivid story. So you asked me to read, and I started reading it every Saturday. And to the audience, Smita is my Shani Mahatmya accountability partner. Okay, so every Saturday morning, first thing I wake up, take bath, sit and do Shani Mahatmya reading and 108 Shani Nama Japa, and I send her a message, with green ticks. Did this, did this. So initially, it took me more than an hour to read it. Okay, friends, we'll speak about the specific elements of this Mahatma in a while, but I'm just giving you the outline. Okay, so I used to take like an hour or more, and I used to read it aloud. And I've never bought a Kannada or a Hindi or a English Shani Mahatma book because you sent me the PDF, which is like a summary. Someone did a good job of translating the whole Shani Mahatma into English and probably summarized it. I'm sure the actual Shani Mahatma book is much more detailed and more pages in it. So reading continuously for an hour was a little taxing on my throat. Then I asked you, how do you do this every time? Right? Because it is taking me more than like 1 hour, 1 hour, 15 minutes, sometimes 1.5 hours. Even if I read fast, 1 hour minimum. Okay. And so you suggested me that you visualize the whole story and hence you're able to do it faster. So then I stopped reading. Then I started visualizing the whole story. Of course, I read the initial, chants and the chants at the end for each graha, but I visualize the whole story in between. And ever since I started visualizing, this is the beauty. And people tell the same thing about Bhagavad Gita. People say that Gita speaks with you, right? So when you read Bhagavad Gita, based on the life context that you are going through, the right messages surface for you. For example, when I did the Bhagavad Gita, the 18-day Gita Yoga, reading one chapter every day with some strict food discipline, etc., the message that stood out was dharma. Uncompromising dharma is the only foundation for life. That was our first message. The second time, when I did 1.5 years later, and my wife and son have created a beautiful artifact for me to hang it in the wall here. First is give, give, give. Burn this life as a yagna for Loka Kalyana. That was the first message. Second was consistent sadhana. Third was surrender. Similarly, which every passing week, with every passing month, every time I go through Shani Mahatma in my mind, so I just sit, close my eyes, and visualize the whole story of Vikramaditya, right? Different insights are emerging. Okay. So, with your permission, can I share those insights with the audience?
Yes.
And I sent you the summary as well. Yeah. So the story of Vikramaditya goes like this in a very nutshell, not in a skeleton story. He's a king. He asks his mantris and others in the court in his asthan which planet is superior, and they all start talking about sun is superior, moon is superior, so and so, and one of the mantris talks about Saturn being superior, but then Saturn's gaze affected Saturn's father himself. So then Vikramaditya, in a fit of lack of awareness, laughs it out aloud and criticizes and ridicules Saturn. And then Saturn really starts its gaze on Vikramaditya. Then he loses his kingdom. You know, he goes to a merchant. Merchant tries to get his daughter married to him. Daughter tries to lure him. He sticks to his value. But then daughter's necklace gets stolen. Apparently Hansa eats from the painting, and then the king of that country, Chandrasena, where Vikramaditya wandered into, Saturn comes into Chandrasena and gives harsh punishment to Vikramaditya to cut his both the hands and feet, and his body be thrown outside the kingdom. And then, because of kindness, okay, you can give food and water, is the instruction from the king to the people. That is one phase. And the second phase is where one of the ladies takes him home to his father-in-law's place, her father-in-law's place, where he spends like 5 years or 7 years and are doing some household chores. And then at the end of the whole phase, Saturn comes and asks Vikramaditya, how was it? How was this Saadhe Saati experience? And Vikrama says, please don't give this hardship to anyone. I can't bear this. I couldn't bear this. People cannot bear this. But then Shani says, well, this is inescapable. Everyone has to go through. Shiva has gone through. Hanuman has gone through. Rama, Ravana, Pandavas.
Sorry. Hanuman has not gone through. Just.
Oh, is it? Then Shiva goes into. Is it
So,
Hanuman or Shiva who
okay,
sits in
no.
bottom?
Yeah, that's a different pastime. So
Okay.
let me, yeah. So basically here also there are some gaps which I see it a little differently. So so when Vikramaditya says that, oh, he's like, okay, if he can do this to father, then what kind of son he is? He criticizes him, thinking that, oh, somebody is doing like this. So when that happens, that's the time Shani Dev says that, you have been such a good king throughout, but this offense is going to accumulate and give you repercussion. So again, the way we read Shani Mahatmya also is this, that we see again Shani being a crazy, strict person who's randomly doing things. No, he's saying that now you're going to see the repercussions of this and it's going to be tough. So that is how he is going through this. And even at the end phase, he's waiting for Lord Shani to come. And when he appears, like, of course, now the explanation is that he doesn't have hand, he doesn't have leg. So he rolls down to his feet. He's become completely, he's completely in humility. And then he's saying that I was able to bear this. But if I see my people, my sabha or my people going through this, I will not be able to tolerate. So here also he's exhibiting compassion. And he's saying, I will not be able to tolerate this when my people are going through this. How do we come out of this? So Lord says, but yours is over. You're blessed, because he's very happy. He's saying that you're still thinking about others, so I bless you. So he gets his limbs back. So he says, no, but while my people are going through this pain, I will feel their pain. So I was reading, someone just wrote that, it calls for discipline. Yes, discipline, compassion, that you will have to be in a particular way. So when that happens, Shani says that everyone has to go through this. Everyone has to go. So he first says my guru, because in our life, guru has the topmost place. Right? But he says even my guru had to go. Then Ishwara. Then he says, so there is a sequence the way he is going. Then he says that Ishwara has gone through this. Then he says Lord Ram, because he's been Maryada Purush. Then Mother Sita has gone through this. Then Ravan, who was such an intelligent person who captured everybody, including Lord Shani, he had to go through this. Then he's talking about Vishwamitra, because he's Vashishta, because he's Vashishta, because he is Lord Ram's guru. So if Lord Ram is so great, imagine how great his guru would be, right? Then he's talking about Harishchandra, because he stood with his principle, right? Then he's talking about another couple where they had to bear the wrath of Kaushik Rishi. Then there was a tapasvi who went through, he had a downfall, right? Then he's talking about Chandra and he's talking about Indra, both, because they are again there. And Pandava, Kaurava, and Krishna himself. So there's a sequence the way it is gone, because we have to understand that this is the sequence and everyone will have to go through this. So then he says that, okay, if everyone is gone, then how do you expect others to not go? Because they will also do certain karmas which will come back to them. So out of compassion, again, Vikramaditya says that, what, but I will not be able to tolerate this at all. So Lord Shani says, I'm pleased with your discipline, your compassion, your integrity. So I bless that whoever listens to your uh, your tapas, your discipline, your ability to hold back, restrain, your ability to continually perceive what you believed in, that is going to elevate you. And people who will listen to the story, they will be able to see the life in a better perspective, and they will have their own understanding and their own learning. Hence there is a blessing that whoever listens to Vikramaditya's story will be able to overcome this in a much better fashion. So again, unless we really believe that Lord Shani is here only to teach us life lessons, only to help us understand that, discipline is the only way. And unless we are ready to up our game, we will have to tolerate. For Vikramaditya, he asked a blessing for us because we were also his subject. Because Ujjain is restricted to MP, Madhya Pradesh only. But at that time, he meant the whole kingdom, every one of us. So the blessing which he asked for is actually for us. And through his story, we are able to understand that if you're just patient, right, you're patiently going through what you're supposed to be going through, and you will realize that someone will come who's going to allow us to experience this in a much better way. Like for me, it was one of my friend. For you, it was me. For someone else, it will be you. The system has to move on.
Hmm.
This passing of knowledge has to happen so that people are able to experience Saadhe Saati in a much better way and in much beautiful way, where you
Hmm.
realize that, okay, this is it, what it is. Let me learn what is come to me rather than, negating it or rather than pushing it out. Yeah, is it
Beautiful.
helping?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this very conversation itself took my understanding of the Shani Mahatmya at a deeper level from a subtler point of view. So there is a gross thing and a subtle thing, right? So this is an observation I'm having, Smita, that with every week, so there are weeks where I'm in a hurry. I sit and literally like zip through the whole Shani Mahatmya visually very quickly within few minutes. And then there are days where I did one Shani Mahatmya reading, not reading like reading, but visualization in a park. Okay. And I sent a communication to my group co-seekers that day. It was so special. It was a peaceful park. And I visualized the whole Shani Mahatmya that day at a much subtler level. Okay, the finer nuances of the lessons that the Mahatma conveys, I can distill it into like few bullet points, if you will, right? One, transcend the ego. In the smallest of behaviors, whoever it is in life, dissolve the ego and show up with absolute compassion. And I correlate so for those people who have not read Shani Mahatma, don't worry, we'll share the PDF and share a couple of references as well. The hands being chopped and the legs being chopped. What is the indication? The indication I derived from this, see, we all have our own interpretations and derivations of lessons. So this is for me that transcend the identity of body. Neti neti is, this is what we try to learn and apply. It was such a profound insight, I can't tell you, Smita. Transcend the identity of body. And when the when the daughter of the merchant tries to lure him to marry him, stick to the value, even if the shittiest of situations in life. That was the message. Stick to the principles, stick to dharma, stick to the values, ethics. Next, take what comes your way, surrender. So when he was being asked to chop off his limbs, don't give food, or when the food was started to be given, or when he was taken to another place and he was doing the, what is it, Ghana,
Yeah, he was
oil mill,
churning oil.
oil
Yeah.
churning oil.
Churning oil. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Seed. Yeah.
churning oil probably has a much deeper meaning, not just physically. Basically, we are churning our inner self, right? And so there is a phase of the story, people, that where he starts singing melodiously. And whenever he used to sing, the lights in the entire kingdom, I forget the name of the kingdom now, Chandrasena's kingdom, The lamps used to get lightened, and when he stopped singing, they used to go off. To that level, basically, this is Ashtasiddhi, right? So now he is able to control the lights in the whole city. How did the melody of the song come? When See, this is the self-talk I do, Smita, whenever I do every Saturday. This morning I did, it was a little faster today. I couldn't reflect so much today because we had to rush for the podcast. When the identity with the body and mind is transcended, we are vibrating at the frequency of divinity. And the melody comes. Melody is divinity, Gandharva Veda, right? The melody, a king being able to sing to such a Gandharva level, it means divinity is expressed through the Vishuddhi Chakra, right? I'm actually feeling goosebumps right now. So every time this story, Shani Mahatma, is not just a ritual for me now. It has become a part of my evolution, inner evolution. So I invite everybody here. In fact, I don't know whether one who is not going through Shani Mahatma should read it or not. I don't know about it because people talk about similarly for Garuda Purana. Only when people die in your home you should read. Otherwise, I don't know. I think it's okay for people to read Shani Mahatma, right?
Yeah. See, again, the same thing. It's just unless you're not aware, you'll not be able to. Garud Puran, you know why? Because Garud Puran is very, very, very intense, right? And if you read it on regular basis, you'll start self-doubting everything. But when someone is not around, you have lost someone, Garud Puran gives you strength to understand what the journey is all about, future journey, right? There, Garud is talking to Lord Vishnu and he's asking what has to be done and stuff like that when this happens or in that phase. But anyway, not touching that. Even Shani Mahatmya, like as I said, when we were kids, we used to go to Shani temple regularly and there would be Shani Mahatmya happening. We would just sit and listen and sleep at times, right? But the point is this, that if you understand, if you understand Shani and his impact, you will not get scared of him. And what is he really teaching you? Very simple. Like, not everybody may understand the intensity you're talking about, subtler energy, all of that. It's very simple. In regular householder's life, like, regular basic life, if someone is going through, if someone is seeing that there are challenges, it only calls for discipline. It only calls for higher understanding, higher purpose. Okay. Like you shared an experience that, okay, this is what I was going through this and this happened. Similarly, while in Bombay, I had taken e-ticket and I paid money, but e-ticket did not show up. I didn't even realize because I didn't bother to check because paisa gaya, to train ka ticket aa gaya. But while I was returning from my seva, I do seva every Thursdays in the temple. And the he caught me and he said, "Show me your ticket." So I tried opening and it didn't open because I didn't have ticket. But because I had the intention of paying and money, he said कि आपका पैसा वापस आ गया होगा. But I had an intention of taking the ticket and and I did what I had to do. But there was no ticket. So this happens in real life, that where you feel that I've put in effort, any effort, you put effort in your career or wherever, but you may not see the result. But Shani, so ideally what should happen is, because I have, oh, Saadhe Saati chal raha hai, so somebody's going to take me and put me and find me more. No, because I was disciplined. I was straight. It's barely 10 rupees ticket, but I was disciplined. I did what I had to do with my integrity. I did everything aligned. There was alignment of all these values. So Shanidev protected me. He said, next time when you buy a ticket, make sure that you see that there is a copy of ticket with you. The TC didn't find me. He caught so many people and he actually fined people, but he didn't find me. Now, why this happened was just few weeks ago, I had to just one stop, 5 rupees ticket. Okay. So my friend, in younger days, it's a okay, let's go, let's go. No ticket, it's fine. So my friend said, hey, chal, let's just go. I said, no, I have to buy ticket because I am in Saadhe Saati and Lord is saying you have to be disciplined. You have to be true. You have to do this. So she's like, no, but there are no TCs these days. Why are you worried? This episode is before this episode happened. Why I'm giving this example is to say that this happens in your life, in real life, when you're going through, what experience you said is very deep. Not everybody will go through or understand this. So that time I did buy 5 rupees ticket because I'm like, no, I can't risk it at this point in time. Right. And actually, there was a TC.
Mm.
Now, for many, many months, what Bombay did is there was no TC on the platforms. They stopped it for particular reasons. But she said that after so many years, I'm seeing a TC. He didn't check my ticket, but there was a TC, right? But second time when I was caught, because I had accumulation, like I was disciplined, I was sure that I don't want to do anything which is not aligned with my values. Shanidev protected me. He didn't find me even when I did not have ticket. This will happen in every phase of your life. Your health, if you're consistent, the challenge will come if you're in your Saadhe Saati. But because you've been very nice, you've been very consistent with your habit, you've been very disciplined, you were aligned with your integrity. Lord Shani will actually protect you. Same goes for your financial situation. You may feel that you lost money, but when you look at it in a bigger and nicer perspective, you'll see that you have gained more than what you have lost. So it could be knowledge, it could be your daughter's wedding, it could be, you bought a house. You lost a lot of money because money is gone from your account, but you got something better. Career-wise, you may feel, oh, somebody pushed me out of this. Okay. But in real sense, somebody in future, because you are aligned with your values, you'll be given a better position. Same thing with relationship. Just be true to what you are. You will find someone who's aligned with your values.
Mm.
So at a very simple and basic level, if you just stay true to yourself and not give into your see, everyone has this impulse behavior of behaving opposite to what is right. So if you do not give into that impulse and stay true to yourself, automatically you will see that how Shani Dev is actually blessing you and not doing anything otherwise.
So, following the path of values, being
Mm-hmm.
disciplined. So,
Mm-hmm.
basically, the entire yama, niyama, and all the spiritual, path that we speak about is if we simply follow that, we'll
Yeah,
perhaps not face as much difficulty and perhaps experience
we
abundance.
will, yeah, we will not face that much of difficulty because actually Vikramaditya had asked blessings for all of us.
Mm.
So we already have grace. Now we have to make sure that we are moving with ease. We are seeing difficulty as not as difficulty, but we are moving through this phase as ease and full of personal growth. When we see this phase as personal growth, when we see that, this phase is for me actually to resolve my karmic reaction,
Mm.
your karmas get resolved in this phase. Lot of self reflection the way you are doing. So somebody who's not as spiritual and as deep as you are, just basic self reflection on day to day basis, maintaining that journal, right? And building the strength, developing that inner strength will definitely help you to overcome this phase very, very, with ease and grace. Struggle will be there, but there will be a lot of ease, there will be a lot of grace.
Wonderful, Smita. With this, we come to the last segment of the discussion today. I actually made a lot of mental notes to cover a lot of other things, but it's already more than.
Yeah, time.
So we'll take questions in the end. So people, if you have any questions, you'll have to type it in the chat box. I'll read out and Smita will respond. Okay. Before that, I want to share a couple of things with you. Uh, Smita suggested me to read this book called The Greatness of the Saturn, a Therapeutic Myth by Robert Swoboda. Robert Swoboda is a Westerner, American, and he came to India, Pune specifically, and he, I think, perhaps the first non-Indian or European or American to be a certified Ayurveda practitioner, something like that. Okay, I'll have to figure out more. And he also did a lot of Tantra sadhana. He was on a podcast with Ranveer Allahabadia some 3 years ago or something. So I watched his, and I have his three books, Aghora 1, 2, 3, still unopened. Someday it should open. So you suggested me to read this book, Smita. I bought this immediately and started reading. I have left the last 100 pages. I've not covered that yet. Because by the time I read the initial, whatever, 150, 200 pages, that's when you suggested me, gave me this Shani Mahatma PDF. So I stopped reading this book. So in this book, Robert Svoboda beautifully explains how in India, the life at large, the psychology, the planetary positions, how all these things have been blended into our culture, into the way of life. What we call as um, rituals being followed for ages, they all have a very deeper, subtler meaning behind those. So he beautifully explains all these things. But a little caution, I consider myself fairly good in English, but for me, this was slightly tougher English, little heavier. For some words, I had to look for dictionary meaning. Largely, it's very small font and little heavy English. Otherwise, it's a good read. So, if you have time and if you are intended to know more about Shani Mahatmya or Shani phase, Saadhe Saati phase, so you can buy this book and read. Second point I want to share is Yakshagana. Okay. So it so happened that I went to Shani Deva temple near my home on the Shani Jayanti, and I went, and the Shani Mahatmya Yakshagana audio was being played there. It just started. It just started at the point when Vikramaditya is asking his Asthan which planet is great. It started that phase. I wanted to sit through the whole audio narration. They had played it on a tape recorder, but I couldn't because it would have taken several hours. Then I checked on YouTube. This Yakshagana is one of the art forms in the coastal Karnataka region. I'm sure if there are equivalents in other parts of India as well. So find out if there are some Shani Mahatmya plays, natakas, Yakshaganas, or such stories being shared visually. They enact this out on a stage. So they dress up like this Yakshagana, and Smitha happens to be from that place near Mangalore. So, and nowadays it's available on YouTube. You don't necessarily have to go to Yakshagana in person and then listen it out. So this happens in Kannada in Karnataka, and I'm yet to find out a half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour version, which is very good. I intend to actually attend one in Mangalore, Smita. And since now you are frequenting Mangalore, I think let's find out whenever one is scheduled, because Yakshaganas happen throughout the night, typically during Ganapati festivals. It starts at around 9, 10 at night post dinner and goes on till the break of dawn in the morning. Okay, for about 4, 6, 7, 8 hours. So imagine immersing ourselves in the Shani Mahatma narration in front of us, vividly dressed up like this with all the emotions. Okay, one of the expressions, Vikramaditya, when he loses the horse and the forest and the river, right? The way this character was saying Paramatma, Paramatma, the way he was expressing, it evokes a certain emotion inside. Okay, so I wish to listen to it at least to start with on YouTube to in the beginning, and perhaps let's make it as a checklist, Smita, for you and me to attend the Shani Mahatmya somewhere in coastal Karnataka whenever it happens. It happens post monsoon. That's a goal for us. Okay, so these are the two resources I wanted to share. Now let's open it up for questions.
I see Shailendra ji saying that, I chant Hanuman Chalisa on daily basis and it helps. Yes, Shani Mahatmya, if you're chanting Hanuman Chalisa, it definitely helps during if your actually any time of your life, is because Hanuman ji is one, he's present, he's around us all the time. His presence around us, what, he's very reciprocated, let's say like that, because the moment you call him, he will be there. Call him with your sincere heart and desire, he will be there. And because Hanuman ji is while Manju was speaking about, and I stopped him in between, that Hanuman ji is not part of that list, is because there was an interaction between Hanuman ji and Shani Dev, where where Shani Dev wanted to really affect Hanumanji, but nothing happened, is only because Lord Hanuman's only goal and aim was to please Lord Ram. And he has no other agenda. So when you're surrendered in that zone, automatically you'll be elevated. And that was the blessing what Hanumanji is having. So when you chant Hanuman Chalisa, it will bring it. Lord Hanuman will give you intelligence to navigate to this better. It's not that by just doing one thing, everything will be fine. So even Shailendra must have done. So while you're reciting Hanuman Chalisa, your actions will be in such a way that it will bring peace and happiness in your life, because the intelligence gets activated when you do certain mantra or you do certain sadhana. That is why it's recommended that you should do Hanuman Chalisa, you visit Lord Hanuman's temple during your phase of Saadhe Saati, because it blesses you with that intelligence. Okay?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, Priyanka has a question.
Yeah, what's the question?
how Epsom salt water bath helps reduce the intensity of any of our negative auras or cleansing karmas, and how it's related to Shani, and what's the good practice in terms of food and yoga for weak leg during Saadhe Saati, because vitamin D and B12 is generally low. Priyanka is a yoga therapist, by the way.
Thank you for this wonderful question, Priyanka. So what happens is everything, everything has energy, including salt, lemon, jeera. All these spices have their own strength and power, but salt has even more power. What happens is when we are interacting with different people, their energies get exchanged, right? Right now also here we exchanging energies, right? There will be some energies, and when you are emotionally entangled with someone, even for a fraction of second, you will exchange those energies. And when you come back home and when you take bath with salt water, because the frequency of salt is higher than yours, it is able to cleanse you at that minute. And how is it related to Shani Dev? No, it's not related to Shani per se, but just cleansing your aura will help you to stay aligned, and it will allow you to get deeper into your own sadhana. That is going to help you understand what Shani Dev is trying to teach. Second question, what is a good practice? Food for weak legs during Saadhe Saati. One is definitely making sure that you're moving a lot, because in nature of planet Shani is such that it will make you slow. So keep moving. So every after every 1 or 2 hours of your work, stand, move around, do go for long walks, do strength training, especially with your legs. And when you're doing yoga asana, focus on standing asanas. It will help. Okay. When it comes to food, make sure that you're eating food which has high intensity, high energy, but it doesn't need a lot of energy to digest. So something like rice, or something which is like ragi, all of these food will definitely help. And you can also do fasting, longer fasting. So you eat one meal in the morning, second meal you eat in the evening, and you balance it out. I cannot give you very detailed understanding about this because I do not know you personally. But if I have a client who's going through this, I evaluate their current position, help them understand how they can eat right, what are the spices they can include in their diet, which is going to help them overcome the situation in a much better way. Yeah. Thank you, Priyanka.
Last couple of questions, then we'll do a quick poll. Uh, would like to know the position of each and every planet with its reason. I think this is a slightly deeper question on the astrology and planetary.
Yes, I don't know the name because I can't see the name. Sir, ma'am, I am not an expert on this subject and on this, anything related to this. So I will not be in a right position to answer this one. Sorry.
And one question from Aarti on, if I understand right, the Prarabdha Karma decides our planetary positions. Is that so?
Yes. So, Aarti's question. Is this Aarti's question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just give me a minute, huh? Just give me a minute. I'm getting back to back call.
Sure. So, friends, while Smitha gets back with answering the call, just a moment. Guys, do you see a poll coming? Yeah, I've posted a poll here. Tell me if you're able to see the poll. Would you like if we craft a detailed course on Saadhe Saati as a topic? And if you would like to be a part of a focused 3 months sadhana associated with Saadhe Saati as a phase, of course, it goes for a long period of time. But for us to get started in how to tune into this phase from an open mind with a broad perspective and turn this potentially tough phase into a opportunity for inner transformation. So if you would like something like that, please respond to the poll accordingly and then we'll take it forward. Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds. Okay, few more people, if you can respond to the poll. Just say yes or no. That's fine. Okay, so 91% people are saying yes for a focused course on Saadhe Saati and an associated 3 months sadhana journey as a group. Fantastic. So I'll keep this in mind. I'll end the poll. Thank you. Yeah, let's go ahead with a couple of questions and then conclude this, Smitha. I'm going through tough time, but I don't know if it is because of Saadhe Saati. I think the universal answer remains the same, Anurag. The principles of how one should show up in this journey, whether we are going through a difficulty or not, largely remain the same. Yeah.
Yes, I'm aligned with Manju. So basically, the whole idea of human life is to understand what our life lessons are. And there are certain qualities which we'll have to develop so that we are able to see these struggles as not struggles and see that we are able to pass this journey with ease and grace. Just doing basic things. Hanuman Chalisa is always going to help. Offering prayers to your guru, to your elders, your parents, understanding them from right perspective, all this will definitely help. So like Manju said, it's just that, just incorporating simple basic things will actually elevate the situation.
And one last question before we conclude. So this is a very good question, Archana, and this is kind of going to summarize the whole solution aspect. If one is going through Saadhe Saati, what is the solution? Chanting Hanuman Chalisa, doing Shani Mahatma reading. Can you summarize the whole solution? Probably, Smita, if you can actually suggest these bullet points across food, lifestyle, spiritual practices, create a bouquet of sadhana practices.
See, it's very, very simple. Do not give in to instant gratification. Learn to understand delayed gratification. That itself will, take care of a lot of stuff. But to give a little more specific with food, make sure that you're eating right, local seasonal food. With your exercise, make a good portfolio of make sure that you're strength training at least 2 times a week, and go for your be disciplined with your with your exercise. Sleep on time, that will definitely help all of us. Off late my sleep has also gone a little off, but I'm trying to get back on track. But sleep is one of the most important aspect. And last but not the least, emotional health. Learn from right people how to handle your emotions in a right way, which will help you to develop and hold all this together. And certain things like Hanuman Chalisa will definitely help you, no doubt about it. Make sure that you're being very kind, and you're genuinely concerned about people who are lower than you, in the sense with intelligence, with financial situation, with everything, and see how you can actually contribute to their wellness and growth. It could be your house help. It could be someone in your office. See in which aspect of if their life you can help. Don't go too much deep because they are in their own ecosystem. But in whatever situation you can. So just being nice to them, just talking nicely to them, that itself will do a big, big, big change. One of the remedies suggested is that offer footwear to people, so that it's easy, because Shani again represents feet. Okay. And someone who belongs to that class of society where they can't even afford footwear, just donate them. So what happens is you are willing to make those changes. You're showing it to universe, showing it to Lord Shani, that you're ready to serve people who cannot afford all of these luxury. Footwear is a luxury. And you are genuinely bothered about their well-being. I heard one, I was listening to one podcast where it said, oh, if you do all this remedy, will Shani be pleased? No. He will still, he's still checking your intention. Maybe you also don't have money to give someone a footwear, okay? Or donate something big, donate a blanket. Maybe you yourself don't have that money. But the intention of helping someone, intention of being good to someone itself is enough. Like I shared the story of ticket, right? My intention was to buy a ticket. I didn't want to cheat there. I was protected. So Lord Shani is not that demigod whom you can fool. That's why for me it doesn't make sense that go read mantras of Lord Shani. How he is going to, like, if your teacher wants milk and you're offering him say gold ring, he's not going to be happy. Go give him milk. If he's asking for milk, give him milk. Similarly, Lord Shani is asking you to be disciplined, asking you to be kind, asking you to get off your ego, get off your ego, and not do some crazy kind of remedies. It's not going to serve him or you, right? So keeping it simple, not complicated. There is nothing complicated you have to do to please someone. You don't have to please Lord Shani. You have to just upgrade yourself. That will automatically please Lord Shani. Yeah, I hope this is helpful.
Wonderful, Smita. And on the concluding note, I invite people to follow Corporate Seekers on Instagram for more such events in the future. And if you're interested to know the practical path forward to emerge stronger from the current phase of turbulence, I'm conducting a masterclass, a free masterclass this afternoon at 4 p.m. IST. So share this link, the second link, with you, with your friends who might be in need, who are looking to transcend the phase of turbulence and look towards clarity, confidence, courage, and inner bliss. Smita, wonderful having you here. I think we should do more often, yeah. Huh?
Thank you so much.
What are your
Yeah,
topics?
yesterday I was telling Manju, no, 40 minutes is a lot. People will get really bored. We'll keep 20 minutes for question and answer and we'll close, and we are already above, above, we are beyond, way beyond time. So, but yeah, thank you so much for everyone for staying back, understanding this little differently. I hope you have better and newer perspectives to take back home. And thank you, Manju, for allowing me to be here and express my thoughts.
Thank you, Smita. And people, you can follow Smita at the rate the Smitha Shetty in Instagram. She's a wonderful coach. She helps a lot of people in the area of holistic well-being, especially with people who are wanting to conceive, who are already conceived, and different phases of pregnancy. Thank you so much, Smita. And people, that's it for today. See you at 4 p.m. if you want to really transform your life from turbulence to inner peace. Thank you and have a great Saturday. Thank you. Bye.